From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
And new at 11, a dire warning from Washington about the COVID-19 outbreak in Indiana. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. ABC News has obtained the latest COVID-19 White House Task Force report on Indiana. It says Indiana is in the red zone for cases. That indicates 101 or more new cases per 100,000 people. The Hoosier state has the 5th highest COVID infection rate in the country. The report also says, quote, despite the severity of this surge and the threat to the hospital systems, many state and local governments are not implementing the same mitigation policies that stem the tide of the summer surge that must happen now. We could learn tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 if any new statewide restrictions will be put in place when Governor Eric Holcomb gives his weekly update on the pandemic. You can watch that live here on WRTV, and we will have the latest at WRTV.com.
Today, the State Department of Health reported 124 additional COVID-19 deaths in Indiana. 3,250 COVID patients were hospitalized statewide as of yesterday. 5,457 new positive cases were reported between Friday and yesterday. The 7-day positivity rate among unique individuals is now at 27.6%.
The state is ramping up contact tracing efforts to slow the spread of coronavirus. WRTV spoke with a COVID-19 survivor about the process. Brent Lyles says he caught the virus from a relative. He battled symptoms for a month. During that time, the State Department of Health reached out to him multiple times.
It was a simple set of questions. You know, do you know that you're positive? Yes, I did find that out. Do you know who you have been around in the past X number of days since the first symptoms that you felt? Yes, I do. And can you identify if anyone within the last 72 hours has been exposed to you who wasn't already in quarantine with you?
According to Lyle, the health department contacted him via text, email, and they even called a few times. Officials strongly encourage Hoosiers to cooperate with contact tracing to help protect your friends and neighbors.
Now to the economic impact of the COVID crisis. The countdown to Christmas is on, and local retailers are counting on this holiday season to make up for losses brought on by the pandemic. WRTV's Cameron Riddle takes us to Fountain Square, where a business owner is asking you to spend your money in the community.
As Christmas 2020 approaches, small business owners like Mike Angel are hoping customers make an effort to shop local.
It's always been important for people to shop local, but this year, obviously, with COVID-19, it's more important than ever.
Angel and his business partner, Patrick Birch, own Square Cat Vinyl, a record store, coffee shop, and event venue, along with a neighboring new flower shop slated to open this week. Angel says his Fountain Square businesses are just two of many hanging on by a thread, thanks to the pandemic.
COVID has dropped our sales at least 60% from this time last year.
The inside of Square Cat Vinyl has been off limits to customers since the start of the pandemic. That means no sales from coffee, no live events, and their record sales have been limited to online only, since customers usually have to get hands-on with their inventory while searching for the right records. The store's extensive music collection is now the main source of income.
Oh, we got a little bit of everything. We got rock and roll, hip hop, soul, funk, R&B, classical, hidden somewhere in there.
With Christmas less than a month away, Angel is hoping sales on the store's website will carry their business through winter, which, even without a pandemic, is the slow season for restaurants and retailers. His request is that you consider a local spot, whether you're holiday shopping online or in person.
Well, that would ensure that we stay alive a little bit longer at least. I think right now everyone is just, the game plan is to make it to spring. You know, obviously it's going to be warmer, more people are going to be outside, and hopefully we're closer to a vaccine and closer to consumer confidence being up.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
All of Square Cat Vinyl's records are available for sale online at squarecatvinyl.com. You can also find a local list of stores that are great options for holiday gifts. That's in the We're Open Indie section of our website at WRTV.com.
Hoosier renters continue to struggle and fear eviction as the federal moratorium is set to expire in a few weeks. Nationwide last month, 9 million renters said they were behind on rent, and right now up to 250,000 Hoosiers are at risk of eviction. When the CDC national moratorium on evictions expires at the end of the month, experts say we could see anywhere from 40,000 to 80,000 households at immediate risk of eviction. Andrew Bradley leads the economic development group Prosperity Indiana. He says if Congress does not release additional rent relief, the state will soon have to make some hard decisions to prevent thousands of Hoosiers from becoming homeless come January 1st.
We've heard about a plan that could provide $25 billion for rental assistance, and that's about a quarter of what we need to get through 2021. So if our Indiana senators act, Todd Young and Mike Braun can be champions on those bills, then that could really make a difference for at least 100,000 Hoosier families that are at risk of eviction.
Unfortunately, the Marion County Rental Assistance Program stopped accepting applications last week. You can still visit indyrent.org to sign up for notifications about when they might offer help again. If you live outside of Marion County, applications at indianahousingnow.org has a wait list.
The state attorney general's office has finalized a settlement in a case prompted by WRTV reporting. The I-70 mobile home park forced people to leave last year without giving them the titles to their mobile homes. WRTV began reporting on the situation in August of 2019 when owner Blue Lake Incorporated said it was evicting all of its residents. Shortly after that, Attorney General Curtis Hill obtained a restraining order to stop the evictions. Under the settlement, Blue Lake must return all mobile home titles to their owners. The company does not have to admit any wrongdoing.
Now to the WRTV forecast. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory joins us now tracking a Wednesday warm-up, which is so needed right now, Kevin.
Plus 10, add 10 degrees to tomorrow's high, and we're headed toward 50. So that's the good news. Should also be a brighter day, Amanda. We'll have clouds in the morning, give way to some afternoon sunshine. Still a bit breezy with the winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. 34 degrees as you're headed to work with a decent amount of cloud cover. Coming home, more sunshine than clouds. That's the game plan, 50 degrees. There's the gray of cloud cover first thing in the morning. By early afternoon, it's thinning out. And then sunshine winds out late in the day. Temperatures just a little bit cooler north and east of Indy in the upper 40s, Indianapolis at 50, and lower to middle 50s in southwest portions of the state. So when will we combine sunshine with the mildest temperatures? I've got that and your weekend changes straight ahead.
An Indianapolis woman whose husband and 3 children died in the Missouri duck boat tragedy says she will continue her fight for justice. Attorneys for Tia Coleman released her statement after federal criminal charges against the boat's captain and 2 other employees were dismissed. Coleman is urging the Missouri State Attorney General to pursue charges in the case. 17 people, including 9 members of Coleman's family, died in July of 2018 when their land watercraft sank during a storm. The boat went on the lake despite severe weather warnings.
As Indianapolis wraps up its most violent year yet with a record number of homicides, some local organizations will get a little extra support as they work to combat crime. $2.2 million in violent crime reduction grants are being awarded. The money is available through the Central Indiana Community Foundation and the City County Council. One of the recipients is the Makita Lavelle and Tripp Mentoring and Outreach Center. They work with at-risk youth who have been suspended or expelled from school. They received $80,000 through this grant program. They plan to use it to expand their services to help provide support and resources for young people even after high school and into their 20s.
We will be helping with job skills, helping find employment, helping to find housing, anything that will cause a barrier for them to be successful in our society.
Leaders say they focus on finding the root cause of violent crime. They hope their work makes Indianapolis a safer place.
A new effort is starting in Marion County to recognize and remedy wrongful convictions. Today, prosecutor Ryan Mears announced the creation of a wrongful conviction integrity unit within his office. The group will focus on finding and fixing cases where someone was convicted for a crime they did not commit. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker learned more about the reasons for creating the unit and what they hope to achieve.
I talked to Prosecutor Mears about this new conviction integrity unit, and he explained to me why it was created.
The more we looked into it, the more we realized that it is incredibly important that every conviction that comes out of Marion County, not only today, but in the future, is based on the facts. But also looking backwards, it's incredibly important that those convictions as well were only based on the facts and not anything else.
You always hear every so often stories about people being exonerated years and years after they were convicted of murdering someone because of DNA technology. In your professional opinion, how many cases are out there, or is it just too hard to estimate cases like that?
Yeah, I think it's too hard to estimate, but I think the good thing about it is because we do preserve most of our evidence in murder cases, now we're going to be able to know, and we're going to be able to eliminate that doubt for some people, or we're also going to be able to say, hey, maybe we did get this wrong. And I think that's really the benefit of this program, is saying science has made tremendous advances, not only on the issue of DNA, but also on the issue of fingerprints, touch DNA, things that didn't exist 20, 30, 40 years ago.
And what do you say to someone who sees this and believes either themselves or someone in their family may benefit from this program? How do they reach out to your office?
So beginning January 1st, there's actually just going to be a form on our webpage in which it's going to provide individuals with information that they can fill out, and then that will begin the process of us looking into the conviction.
This program only applies to cases and convictions that happened in Marion County. And if you'd like to see the full conversation between the prosecutor and I, you can go to the story that's in our app and on our website. Amanda?
Thank you, Cornelius. Along with reviewing cases, the Conviction Integrity will train prosecutors and investigators on ways they can avoid future wrongful convictions. This will be the first program of its kind in our state.
Hearing music in the evening and on the weekends was not unusual. I considered it no big deal.
Next, will a CARMEL crackdown cause controversy? And a little later,
everyone can make a difference. If you have $22, you can donate to a builder. They can build a desk for a kid.
The growing grassroots effort to provide kids with a normal place to sit and work while remote learning.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
New at 11, reaction from residents about a major setback for a CARMEL bar. The GOAT would usually still be open at this hour, but CARMEL says it will begin enforcing a rule for the location that requires the tavern to close at 2 p.m. The city says the previous owners of the property ran a breakfast and lunch cafe. A variance that included the time of operation was issued for that business and remains in place. Representatives say this new enforcement comes after continued complaints from neighbors and businesses. But neighbors and business owners we spoke with tonight are disappointed with the decision.
I didn't find it any problem whatsoever. And I'm actually kind of surprised that the hours got cut back so drastically. Maybe not be there as late as they were, but certainly not be closed by 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
The apartments next door and the condos next door, there have been some people complain, but a lot of people I know that go to the GOAT really like it and want to see it stayed open.
The city says the GOAT was inadvertently allowed to operate with a closing time of 3 a.m. Now the tavern will have to get an additional variance or a zoning change approved in order to stay open later than 2 in the afternoon.
Kevin Gregory joins us now with our forecast. And Kevin, a warm-up is on the way, a much-needed one at that.
Yeah, we've been waiting. Of course, this is December, so we'll take whatever we get. But it looks like temperatures tomorrow through Saturday, at least the first part of Saturday, will reach 50 or above. Let's jump to the weekend for a second, because that's when some things start to happen, so to speak. Rain around, windy conditions. The high temperature happens early in the day, first half of the day Saturday, and then the door opens to much colder temperatures for the second half of the weekend. There's the area of low pressure that will gain strength Friday night and Saturday. It will draw warm air into the state, bring with it the rain, and then on the backside, we'll see the stronger winds bring in colder temperatures starting late Saturday night and Sunday. As far as rainfall potential, may see 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and obviously north and west of Indianapolis, forecast models hinting at more than that. widespread soaking rain potentially with the strong cold front. Let's back it up a little bit before we get to the weekend. We've got some decent weather. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, temperatures 50 degrees or above. Thursday's probably the best day where we put more sunshine and mild temperatures together. Although Friday will be warmer, I think we'll see the clouds increase through the day. Any rain should hold off until Friday night. Here's your forecast tomorrow. Some cloud cover early, and then we pick up more sunshine as we work our way through late morning and afternoon. That'll help boost the temperature up to 50 for the high. Again, we'll see some wind gusts, 10 to 20 miles per hour. To the north, it might be a struggle. Logansport, Kokomo, Marion, Hartford City, Winchester, Portland, to get to 50. The rest of us, especially in the western portion of the state, the western half or western third, with skies clearing first there, more likely to see temperatures just a little bit warmer. These are all a full 10 degrees above average for this time of year. Thursday temperatures, as we see, all in the low to mid 50s. Friday, more clouds, a little more warmth. 55 degrees for the high. That's the warmest temperature in the 7-day forecast. This weekend, the rain on Saturday comes to an end Saturday night, but the colder air flows in, and before the rain totally ends, we could have a melting snowflake mix in there. Sunday's high 38. We're still in the 30s Monday. Then we start to warm it up after that. Beyond the 7-day forecast, indications are we continue with some above average temperatures. Amanda?
Looks good. Thank you, Kevin. Some students across central Indiana and the country are learning from home without a basic necessity, a desk. That means their books and laptops are spread out across kitchen tables, beds, or the floor. Scripps reporter Chloe Nordquist shows how parents nationwide are inspiring each other to change that.
Over the past month, Eric Genota's garage has become a workshop, fueled by a good cause.
Me personally, I built around 25 desks.
Making desks for kids who don't have them.
And we found out there was a huge need for them.
Kim Gonsalves helps Eric run Desks for Kids, their way of helping kids in need who are learning from home.
We first heard about it because Eric's brother lives in Maryland, and we found out about Desks by Dads because his brother started building with Desks by Dads.
The Desks by Dads organization has inspired people across the U.S. like Eric and Kim.
It's like a group in Michigan, a group over here in another state where they're building desks. So it's, it started with Desks by Dads, and a lot of them reference Desks by Dads.
I thought, I can build a dozen desks. That seems a reasonable amount of time and effort and money. And I got into it, and we started looking at the need, and it was more than 200 desks are needed just for our little suburb.
So they got to work.
We started just using our own money, just buying up some plywood and some supplies. And now it's just sort of grown a little bit.
With the help of monetary donations, wood donations, and others offering to build desks, they are now working with schools to deliver desks to those who need them most.
They're doing their distance learning all day long, on the bed or on the floor.
Back at the beginning of the school year, when it became clear many students who went home in the spring still would not go back to face-to-face learning, economists saw kid desks and other supplies go out of stock. Now, as a second wave of COVID-19 sends students home again, the need is still great.
What we saw with desks is the same thing we saw with many other things, that the pandemic has created new markets for just more of existing products that become more important in a pandemic.
Economist Matt Klaus says desks are a great example of people finding ways to fill supply needs when there's a demand.
When we have a situation where there's a demand for a product and there's not enough of it being produced, then economic theory says that suppliers will convert resources if they can, and they'll start producing what's necessary.
And that's exactly what these volunteer builders are doing, using the resources available to help fill a need.
If you're a family who needs a desk, you could contact your school and say, are you in touch with any builders who are building desks and giving them away? Everyone can make a difference. If you have $22, you can donate to a builder. They can build a desk for a kid.
As the desks are built, Kim and Eric load them up and drive them off to where they're needed most.
And to know that you're making just a little bit of difference, because you wish you could help more. There's more things they might need than just a desk. But this might just help that student be a little more successful this year.
And then it's just blossoming to see the community pull together. It's really given me a lot of hope in a year that's been pretty terrible.
I'm Chloe Nordquist reporting.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
The Purdue men's basketball team is now 3-2 after a second-half meltdown in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Purdue went into halftime with a 32-14 lead against Miami, but that lead dwindled as the Hurricanes outscored the Boilermakers 44-22 in the second half. Purdue loses 58-54.
Saturday's Old Oaken Bucket game between Purdue and IU could be in jeopardy. Both teams say they canceled practice today for COVID-related reasons. We'll bring you updates on this developing story as we learn new information. And is the Big Ten laying the groundwork to keep Indiana out of the conference title game? New tonight, the Big Ten released a statement saying in part, quote, the conference is committed to transparency and will continue to collaborate with its member institution stakeholders to determine Big Ten football championship game participation requirements as well as tiebreakers. We told you on the news at 5, if the Big Ten's rules stand as they are, the Hoosiers will play Northwestern in the championship. That's because Michigan has canceled Saturday's rivalry game with Ohio State due to a COVID outbreak. That means Ohio State will not play the minimum 6 games required by the conference to qualify for the title game. But the rules might not stand as they are. The championship is set for December 19th at Lucas Oil Stadium. We will bring you updates on this situation as well.
You might not recognize one of IndyCar's top young drivers in the 2021 season. Colton Herta will have a whole new look sporting the colors of sponsorship of Gainbridge for Andretti Autosport. Herta will also now race the 26 car, number he had in his early days racing go-karts. He had 7 top 5 finishes and 1 race victory, driving the 88 for Andretti this past season, finishing 3rd in the points championship. Gainbridge has become a big player in the series, including the presenting sponsor of the Indy 500. Our Brad Brown spoke with Colton earlier today.
It's a super big deal to be able to carry that name in such a reputable company, and that does so much for IndyCar racing. They sponsored the 500 this year. They sponsored the Speedway, and obviously they put a lot of money into IndyCar as a whole.
You got a ton of momentum coming off of last season. What made that all work so well every weekend? It seemed you guys went out.
I think we had really good cars for the most part. The pit stops were amazing week in and week out. And then obviously we had great strategy. Got a little lucky at some points, but for the most part, we had the pace to back it up.
IndyCar's 2021 season is scheduled to begin March 7th in St. Petersburg, Florida. We'll be right back.
You still have time to donate to the 20th annual WRTV Toy Drive. You can drop off new unwrapped toys at 17 used store locations through Friday, or make a monetary donation from your phone. You can also donate at the Indy Fuel Home Opener on Friday. Go to WRTV.com/toy drive for more information. Kevin.
And you'll help a lot of families in the process. Sunshine will help our temperature tomorrow. Push close to 50. It'll still be a bit on the breezy side. We'll just be patient. I think a few more clouds in the morning, more sunshine in the afternoon. Mark?
That does it for us here on WRTV News at 11. We appreciate you having you along. Be sure to catch the Good Morning Indiana team tomorrow morning at 4:30. Have a good night.